You're listening to the Chris the Freelancer podcast. Hey freelance family, thanks for joining us. This is the show that's all about location independence, remote work, freelancing and online business. If you're looking for advice and inspiration for your own digital nomad journey, this is your podcast. So without further ado, here's Chris.
Hey guys, welcome to the Chris the Freelancer podcast. I'm here with Denise, long-time girlfriend, first time on the podcast.
Hi everyone, it's Denise, yeah.
But yeah, I got Denise on here today to talk about our experience so far with Saigon and the whole journey. As you might know, we've been in Saigon now for a month, and it hasn't been the most comfortable place, but it is rated as one of the top digital nomad cities in the world. Well, according to Nomad List and a bunch of other people we've talked to, and they've said good things about it. A lot of people have said you either love or hate Vietnam. But how have you found it, Denise?
Yeah, to be honest, I have enjoyed it as much as you're disgust. But like I get, because I know you've been here before, but I've never been here, so I didn't really have, I guess, any expectations as such, and I knew that, it was going to be a crazy busy city, so I sort of had my suspicions about what it was going to be like, but at the same time, I didn't have any expectations. So far, so good, and that's probably the one thing I have to say, that you would never usually get disappointed unless you had expectations, of course, so yeah.
Well, let's go through the list of like what makes up a good nomad city and kind of evaluate it based on those points. So first of all, cost of living, is it affordable? I'd definitely say so.
Yeah, definitely affordable. I mean, like, we're not getting a place that's similar to the place we had in Chiang Mai where we had our own apartment. We are staying in a house with 5 bedrooms. It's a big house, but nevertheless, we have our own personal space. We have a really nice big room. I'm pretty sure the cost for the room is about the same as Chiang Mai.
Yeah, so I just did the math because we've just finally heard from our host. It's been crazy. We've stayed here for
the month.
Yeah, the month almost, and we still haven't paid the month's rent or had the contract, and we just got.
Pretty sure he was avoiding us actually for asking for the money, which is the first time. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that.
Yeah, he. I talked about it in the vlog. We keep saying, oh yeah, let's get the contract sorted, let's get the payment, let's get the month, let's go, and they just kept putting it off. But he sent me a text last night, the one of the main guy who's hosting us, and he had all the costs there. I think it ended up being
355 USD.
355 USD, but he credited the amount we already paid on Airbnb. So I think it ends up being about 385 US dollars, all things included. And I did the math on that and realized that's about 13,500 baht. Approximately on so comparison to what we were paying in Chiang Mai, all bills included, we were paying 13. But we had our own studio apartment there.
It's definitely quieter than the place we're in now. But nevertheless, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, in a big city of 8 million people, right in District 1. Yeah. And we were about 10 minutes away from the hustle and bustle of everything, right in the middle of Ben Tan, I think it's the area.
No, we're in Dachau.
No, I know, but we're 10 minutes from Ben Tan.
Oh, yeah, 10 minutes from. Yeah, so the location's good. 10 minutes walk from Dreamplex, which is the co-working space I go to. But yeah, so apartment we're pretty okay with. We knew coming in that we couldn't actually get our own apartment for the price range. We had to get like a room in a shared house. But apart from the noise, we haven't had to really share much. It's been pretty fine.
No, it's been pretty good actually.
What else we got? We got food.
Yeah, food's great. In terms of pricing, I mean, not variety, but definitely pricing. I didn't realize that Vietnamese food is very rice noodle centric. So you don't get a lot of variety in terms of, I mean, like obviously there's Indian restaurants, there's Italian restaurants.
What do you mean rice noodle centric? It is Asia, Bubba.
Yeah, I know, but like if you go to Thailand, I mean, you've got rice, you've got noodles, and then like, I don't know, every freaking corner there's a Korean person or there's like a friggin' Japanese ramen shop. So it's great, like it's so easy, and they're all very similar pricing to their local food. So I don't know, I just found like eating local and international in Chiang Mai was a lot easier to get, as well as just in comparison to here. And like with the food here, I don't know, maybe it's because of the area that we're in, and that's just me. This is just my personal experience, of course. I felt like I couldn't just walk down the road and I couldn't choose between like a plethora of like different types of, foods. Unlike being in Chiang Mai, I don't know. That's just me. So you're kind of like stuck between banh mi, pho, ban chuan, and some other ones that I can't say because I don't know how to say. Oh yeah, bun cha. And there are few far and in between the good ones anyway. So
yeah, I've heard people say in the past that, you know, Vietnam only has like 10 dishes. And I think like they do have more dishes, but there's not many that you would know of and be used to eating. Like the first night when we arrived, we were eating some weird stuff, and I was like, oh no, Vietnam, it's going to be all like this. And then I think the night after we had...
It was fine, yeah. After that we had...
Well, what was the day you had, like, there was this soup that had snails in it or something, and it smelt like disgusting.
Chris.
What?
Don't say that.
What?
It's mean. It's just different. I was desperate. I hadn't eaten like the whole day and I was starving. And then the lady was the only lady that was open on our street, and it was late. I think it was like 10:30 or 11 at night. There was no way anyone else would be open. And because we just got here, we didn't know how to sort of get like takeaway or anything. And I just honestly couldn't be fucked walking anywhere else. So I was just kind of like, this snail lady place. Fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And I did. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
But I got what I needed, and that was it. So, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, in an emergency situation where it's either you starve or you eat something that is totally digestible. I have eaten snails before, but definitely not as bad as those. But you just kind of have to in that sort of situation. I'm sure some of you have probably been in that situation, but yeah.
Yeah, food's a big thing for me and Denise and I personally, and I love variety. So like, I'm not somebody who only eats Western food, and I'm not somebody who only eats the local Asian food, but I want to have a variety. So I want Western and I want Asian, and I just feel like with, you know, Vietnamese food, there's not a lot of variety in terms of food that's like, you know,
but I think
appetizing to a Westerner's diet.
No, but I think also, I feel bad now because I remember reading about this, and they did say that south of Vietnam is renowned for their noodle soups. So I think that is their primary diet, and that's what I guess that's their cuisine. It's just, it's predominantly noodle soup. So I think that if we went middle Vietnam or the top or north of Vietnam, I think it'll be completely different. So obviously, I don't want to say, oh yeah, that's it, like that Vietnamese food is just like freaking noodle soup and that's it. I guess there'd be more options if you went to other regions, because I'm sure they have their regional kind of like cuisine and things like that. But like for what we've experienced here in the last 3 to 4 weeks, I honestly, every turn is a noodle soup shop. So if you don't like noodle soup, yeah, like you know, you'll definitely be able to get everything else. Like we'll be getting takeout and stuff, so you know, with Italian and everything else, there is that option. So yeah, don't get scared. I'm sure you'll find your favorite shop that you'll probably order in.
We have been ordering in so much since we've been here, and that's largely in part. Well, there's not a lot of places walking distance that we know of that we like, but also it's been raining like crazy since we've been here. So like some nights it's just like, do you want to trudge through puddles of water and dodge bikes in the process with your umbrella to get to a restaurant and then come back, and then you're just like, nah, delivery fee is often included. I mean, even KFC delivers, and that's our guilty pleasure, KFC. But moving on to, let's say, transport, it was really nice coming back into a big city and having Uber readily available. So, yeah, in Ho Chi Minh City, you've got Uber, you've got Grab, which is the other Asian equivalent of Uber. And
no, but they use normal taxis. They don't like get private drivers.
No, they have Grab Car, Grab Taxi, Grab Moto.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's similar thing with Uber, and you can get Uber Moto and Grab Moto as well, which is you ride on the back of somebody's
bike.
It's
cheap too. It's really, really cheap. I think it's like 10,000 dong per kilometer or something. So in Australian dollars, I think that's like, I don't know.
Less than $1.
Yeah, like 60, 70 cents or some shit. It's really good.
Yeah, I should probably look up what the exchange rate in US dollars is to share with you guys.
It's 22,400 or 22,300 to a US dollar.
Yeah, the currency is ridiculous here. It's like thousands and thousands. You have like a million dong, and you're like,
it's like $70 or $80.
Yeah,
Australian dollars, and you're just like, you feel like a millionaire, but really it's not that much money. Or you feel like you're paying a lot of money, but it's actually not that much money when you convert it.
Yeah, that's why they call it the city of millionaires. Because everyone's probably got a million dong at least. It's not that much money. But yeah, we've been taking Ubers around. We don't actually, any chance we can to avoid riding motorcycles, we do. Because we've been most people who stay here long term get motorcycles. So Saigon, Chiang Mai, Bali, the islands we definitely had to because there's literally nowhere else to get around. And you could possibly get a taxi, but it was so expensive and ridiculous. And I mean, even getting food like on lunch, you would have to ride your bike, on the islands. But yeah, the point is you can rent a bike here, and I heard it's quite affordable. But man, why would you want to with that traffic? It's just horrendous. And I'm sure you could drive in it and get used to it and all that stuff. But yeah, it's not my deal. And with Uber so cheap, and Denise and I often travel together.
Yeah.
And if we're not traveling together, Uber Moto,
Yeah. But even with the Uber, like most of my rides, because I love going to the city and I love, being a girl. I like looking around, shopping, the usual shit. I think I caught a Uber from my place into the city, and I said it was about 10 to 15 minutes drive to the city. Honestly, in Australian dollars, I think it only cost me about $3 a trip every time, which is so ridiculous because in Australia, I think the minimum start is like $6, and that's just to get in the actual calling and getting in the actual the pro rata rate. And here I think it's like, I don't know, $1 or something. So it's just, it's so affordable. Like, why would you even take an Uber motor anyway? I'm too scared. Like, I just feel like the motorcycles get so close to you, you probably sever your leg or something, but that's just me. I'm paranoid.
Well, actually, when I did do Uber Moto, he pushed his legs pushed my legs further into the bike.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was there on the back of the bike, like, have faith, Chris, have faith. Everyone knows what they're doing, because if you have never seen traffic like this before, you'll think that, oh my God, everyone's almost crashing into each other, which is kind of
look like it.
Well, it looks like that, and they are almost crashing into each other, but they all know what they're doing, kind of thing. So like on the back of the bike, I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what's going on. Like, okay, just have faith, Chris. Nothing's gonna go wrong. But yeah, we've had we've done Uber before in Kuala Lumpur and Bali. Bali, everyone's surprised we didn't have a motorbike. We just
yeah, maybe we'll try that next time. I think we're just a bit paranoid. Mostly, we didn't get a bike for the longest time because we didn't really want to get into trouble with any of the bike owners. We've just heard so many bad stories of people getting cheated by bike renters and sort of saying, hey, that damage wasn't there before, you owe us this much money, blah blah blah. And some people have given up their passports, and I've even just read something recently on the Chiang Mai Digital Nomads that some girl actually got her bike severely damaged, and they won't give her a passport back, and she had only a few days before of having to fly off, and she was trying to figure out how to get out of the situation and how she could possibly talk to cops and stuff. So like those are the kind of situations obviously no traveler wants to be in, and we're very, very careful of these sort of things. I mean, touch wood, like we've been really lucky. We haven't had any issues. We haven't had any situations except when we were in Copenhagen, we did actually damage our bike. We had an accident, but we were so lucky. We found a bike shop and we got that fixed, and that was really cheap to fix and really quick. Otherwise, we'd probably be up for that particular damage in itself. And we do have insurance. We do have insurance, but by the time by the time that actual thing goes through, fuck, I don't even know. Stuff like that takes ages. We needed something done quickly there and then. So I guess, yeah, we're just super careful. We don't want to take any risks.
I think we've kind of gone on a tangent there. Okay, let's talk about working in Ho Chi Minh City. Denise and I are actually on two opposites. Denise likes to work from home. I hate working from home. Hate. So I go to Dreamplex, the co-working space, really nice. Barack Obama was there this year, actually, I think, and that's like what like it made it famous, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Dreamplex, the place that Barack Obama went to." But yeah, it's to me, it's just very, and this is like, I guess the problem with all cities is that it's just a bit too officey, a bit too businessy. There are private offices in there of companies that are based in San Francisco, like big tech companies and stuff like that.
Really, right now?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see them.
Well, Dreamplex is actually 3 floors.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And the floor you arrive on is the middle floor, and that's like the shared desk, and then the permanent desk that isn't like a private room. And then you go upstairs or downstairs and there's offices, and it's just got that really officey vibe. And yeah, like for me, coming from co-working spaces on islands, like I realize it's an island vibe kind of thing. Like, we were at Koh Phangan, and we were at Bali, and we were at Koh Lanta, and even in Chiang Mai there's like more of like a chill vibe, but it was just very officey. Great place to work, great internet, but I guess it's just what you're after. But there are good places to work from that are more kind of cafe style. Denise and I have been to Work Saigon, which is, I was there today. It's pretty good. It's like a co-working space, but you have to pay to use
it's just a cafe.
Yeah. But it's set up specifically for work. But you don't have to pay to use the space. You just pay.
Or the internet. You just buy a drink or buy some food, and that you're paying your way there. But I mean, at least you get it in a food or a drink. So
yeah. So I'd say that's the place that, as a digital nomad, that's going to be like the most.
You didn't like Nest?
Oh, and there's also Work Cafe, or I don't know whether it has two names.
Nest AIA or something.
Nest by AIA or Work Cafe. It's in the Bitexco Tower, and that's cool as well. But definitely that's more local. I didn't really see any like foreign people. But in terms of digital nomads, I'd say Work Saigon is the best. It just wasn't the most comfortable work-wise for me.
Yeah, definitely. The chairs and the tables, and wasn't that... I mean, like, it's a cafe, so I never really expect anything ergonomic to be in a cafe, rarely. But yeah.
But if you want to meet other digital nomads and you're not too concerned about ergonomics, Work Saigon is your place. I think I've been there twice, apart from today when I'm meeting with somebody, and each time I got approached by a new person to talk about like digital nomad stuff.
Really? Today?
No, well, not today because I already meeting him.
the last couple times, yeah.
But yeah, so contrast that with Dreamplex. The only person I met through Dreamplex was Alex Stevenson, who also has a YouTube channel specifically about teaching English as a foreign language. And I just I basically approached him and said, hey, I watch your YouTube channel. And he was nice. He invited me out for a night out with like some guys, some sushi. But it's definitely, and this is the thing that I guess nobody kind of told me, or that I had this expectation that wasn't met, is that the vibe of the people here is like, it's very much a expat entrepreneur rather than digital nomad mindset, I would say. It's just a different mentality. How would you describe it? We were talking about this at dinner the other day.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't want to upset anybody. There might be like expats that listen to this podcast. I don't know. I feel like digital nomads are way more approachable. And that says a lot for me, because I guess I work from home as well, quite a lot, but then every now and again I do actually go to co-working spaces, and the majority of the girls and the people that I've actually met along the way throughout our journey, I have met at co-working spaces, which has opened my eyes about the greatness about community and why Chris does what he does, and obviously I'm very supportive of that. But it's not something that I have to have just to concentrate on work. But I understand the good behind it as well, and the collaboration and the networking that comes with it. So surprisingly, going to Dreamplex, it was very officey. So I have to agree with Chris, because before we came here, obviously we do our research of places, and Chris found out it was going to be such a hub that he was so excited about it, that I was so excited for him, because obviously it's so important for him to be in a community like that, to be able to create content and to bring a lot of things to the community by the exposure that he gets from the different places that we go to. So he was obviously quite disappointed, and I was also disappointed actually, because I did go to a couple of places, except Work Cafe. We did meet people that were willing to say hello and were more open.
Do you mean Work Cafe or Work Saigon?
I don't know, what's the difference?
The Work Cafe is the one at Bitexco.
No, not Bitexco.
Oh, so Work Saigon.
Sorry, Work Saigon, yeah. The people were much friendlier there. It did actually feel more like a co-working space, even though it was a cafe, which is so weird. Yeah, I think and saying that anyway, we kept ourselves predominantly within District 1. We did go to District 2. We did check out a place called Coco Is, I don't know how to say it, but it's Coco Is Cafe, which was gorgeous. And there were a few people on their laptops, but they looked like mostly like local people, I think, because I thought that might have been a bit of a co-working space. But it wasn't really. People were just, working off their laptops, which is pretty general. But yeah, I find, the community here is definitely more expat. And when they're more expat, I guess they don't move around as much. So they're a little bit different. And yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel like they're as open, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference between like a digital nomad kind of co-working space and a businessy co-working space, because a businessy co-working space is there for you to make business connections, and it's mainly for people that are individuals, so they wouldn't want an office, their own office, and then also small teams that can't afford a big office.
It's a very sterile environment. Let's just put I can't think of any other better way to describe it. It's a very sterile. It's like being and working for a big corporation, honestly, because I have worked in a big corporation and it felt like that. It's the exact same environment. Yeah,
and like Denise said, it's a big deal for me to meet people in the digital nomad community and kind of be an evangelist for the community, because I love it. When we go to Koh Lanta and go to places like Koh Hub, and we arrive and we connect with people straight away and make friends, and it's kind of has this community feel that we've lost in our Western culture, oftentimes. And we're in these especially in these big cities, there's not really. It's too big to have a community and when you're on an island and you're the only people working online on an island, it's very easy to get that kind of community feel. And I think people come to places like Koh Lanta because of that. So yeah, that's big reason why I put out all the content is, and some people criticize me for it, think that the digital nomad thing is their little secret, or these digital nomads run Chiang Mai or something like that. But I want to share it with everyone, because the more people,
especially if you're not a digital nomad, because it's not it doesn't have to be a like a behind closed doors sort of thing, and I'm a big believer of it like being something that could free a lot of us, not just people from the Western societies, but people from developing countries, people from I don't want to say third world countries, let's just put it at developing countries, because these people can find work outside of what they can't have in terms of resources within their country, and that can help them. But I mean, that's obviously a much bigger issue, and it's a whole nother level, and I'm not going to go down that road because that's a massive tangent. And, Chris and I have talked about it, about how these sort of things can actually help a lot of other people not just amongst ourselves, but the wider community, not just within the digital community, digital nomad community, but the wider community.
Yeah, I mean, it's all love. Yeah, we that's what is great about it. The sense of community, and I think that is actually the evolution of co-working, and this digital nomad co-working movement is to give back and actually make the places that you come to and work in a better place. And one of the four people at the forefront of that is Hubert, and they've been the original, inspiration for a lot of people, for a lot of co-working spaces in Asia, specifically designed for digital nomads. And they've gotten to the stage now where they do, social enterprise projects, and they call that co-giving. And the Hubert, one of the Hubert founders, Steve Munro, did an interview with him. And if you're interested in that stuff, I'll link it below in the show notes. But he talks about the 4 co's: co-learning, co-giving, and co-working. And we're getting a bit off topic in terms of Saigon, but just to bring it home to you guys, there is a big difference between this like digital nomad community and people living in, location independent entrepreneurs just living in a city because that's the best place to run their business from like a financial kind of bootstrapping kind of point of view. And I mean,
I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Well, there's location. I mean, I've worked with one of them. There's location independent entrepreneurs in Chiang Mai, but even though they have a different mindset, that they're here for a good lifestyle as well. I don't know. Maybe it's just the Saigon vibe or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop harping on that. But wrapping up Ho Chi Minh City. You enjoy being in the city because you can wander around and check out different malls and stuff. What do you think? Is it an interesting place to live?
I think so. I think it is. Admittedly, because I've been so inundated with work, I haven't had enough time to explore the city, because if you didn't know, Ho Chi Minh is friggin' huge. And we're in one district when there's, I think, 19 or 21. If you have a look on the map and the size of District 1, I think it ranges like a few kilometres from one end to the other. So it is not just like a tiny little suburb. We're talking like a proper full district. And you and I haven't really had a lot of time to look beyond District 2, 3, 4. I mean, we've done a little bit of 2, we've done a little bit of 7, we've done a little bit of 3, but nothing substantial to really understand. And when we were going through the other day through the different districts, we realised that each district is like a mini city, literally. It like has its own ecosystem. So I think that we haven't really had enough time to sort of really delve into the different places in Ho Chi Minh to really make a standpoint, like in terms of whether it's good or bad. So I'm going to put it as it's been a really, really great experience, and I actually really want to come back. I don't think I'm done, but I know you're probably going to say something different. But I personally think that there's more adventure out there. I just need to have more time to find it.
I think we'll wrap it up there for talking about Saigon. It's actually it's a good thing that Denise is on this podcast, because I've been thinking a lot about the podcast recently, and you would have well, if you're a long time listener or you listen to the podcast regularly, you would have listened to episode 14, I think, where I talk about how the podcast has been taking up a lot of time and not producing a lot of results. And I kind of, like, going back to the story of why I started it's because I had all these people that I'd met predominantly in Chiang Mai that I just wanted to share their story with people and, to my audience. And, I'm excited to create content. I was like, yeah, I'll start a podcast. And I feel like I kind of got to a point where I covered all that I was really passionate about covering. I think that you guys have heard, so many stories now of people that made it happen. And I think that, yeah, it's great that we could continue to have more people on the podcast, but I feel like there's enough inspiration there for you guys now for your own digital nomad journeys. And yeah, basically, this podcast is going to be probably the last podcast episode. I'm going to leave it the door slightly open and say that maybe the podcast will come back, or maybe I'll get to a point where I meet so many people that I want to share their stories with you again. But
it's just on hold.
Yeah, Denise said to me that she said, "Oh, Chris, because it's been a real struggle, doing the outreach to find guests and stuff, whereas initially it just happened organically, and that was a fun kind of process. Now it's like trying to it's a bit of doing all the outreach is quite a bit of work." And Denise said, just when you come across somebody with a great story, then put it on the podcast, but don't commit to this weekly thing. And I thought about doing that, but then I just thought consistency is key. I know some of you guys look forward to listening to the podcast each Monday, and that's part of your routine now. And I just feel like if we did it every now and then, it'd always be in the back of my mind. I'd always be wondering, should we be creating episodes right now, or should I be outreaching? And it's just gotten to a point now where I just want to focus on, my medium, which to me is YouTube, and the blog as well. But I feel like I've done what I really wanted to do with the podcast, and it's a bit of a hard decision to say say this is probably going to be the last, because I have got some great feedback, and a lot of people have said, keep going, Chris.
Yeah, obviously, obviously you guys don't know this, but obviously Chris absolutely loves bringing you guys content every week, and when you send through things like that, it really gives him a lot of inspiration and encouragement to keep going, because I guess that's what he's doing it for. He's not doing it for himself. He's not talking to himself.
I do enjoy it. There's a selfish aspect to it as well, but I enjoy bringing the stories that are going to help inspire people. It's kind of my way of bringing to the internet what I wish existed when Denise and I were just sort of discovering the movement and getting started in our careers. And I still learn through our guests and people I have through the show, and I'm constantly learning and doing that. But yeah, I'm really sorry to the people that have grown accustomed to this podcast. There are many other podcasts that you can listen to. I can recommend Travel Like a Boss if you're into the online business stuff with an emphasis on lifestyle. Smart Passive Income for passive income by Pat Flynn. Tropical MBA, Location Independent Entrepreneurship. Yeah, I guess what I was trying to do with the podcast was to give another angle to talk about freelancers and remote workers as well, because it's not just all location independent entrepreneurship. It's easy to sell that dream of passive income and traveling the world, and I think that's great, but there are other people that make up the movement as well, and that's what I've tried to do with this podcast, is to show those people. There is some people that are location independent entrepreneurs, but all of them share the one mentality, and that's to go against the grain and to experience the world and connect with the community
and do what they want to do, rather than have to sort of conform to what society says. So, you can be successful in your own right and do the things you want to do. And that's what I've noticed for a lot of the people that I've met throughout my journey. And it's been amazing. It's very, very inspiring. It just makes you want to be a better person the next day in terms of like professionally. It really does.
Yeah, so what I say to you guys is stay subscribed on your whatever platform you use, iTunes or whatever. And, maybe this is just the end of season 1 of the Chris the Freelancer podcast. I would rather than come out with sporadic content that's maybe 2 weeks or a month apart, I would rather wait until I have a bunch of content to give to you on a consistent basis and then come back then. So stay subscribed. There could be another season and I've really enjoyed making this podcast. So it has been a hard decision. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this week's podcast about Saigon and a little bit about Denise and I. I think some of you think that Denise is like some girl I picked up in Thailand or something, but we've been together for 3.5 years now, and she's been a major part of the journey. So I think it's really great that she's on the final episode for season 1, let's say.
It's definitely season 1. Don't worry, I'll get him back for you guys.
All right, thanks so much, guys, and stay subscribed. And look, I'm going to keep trucking along with the YouTube stuff. I love YouTube, and that's my main game. So stay on YouTube. Stay on the blog. You can sign up to the mailing list if you want to keep in touch. Like, no pressure there, but if you want to go, you can type into your browser christhefreelancer.com/free guide. Yeah, you can sign up to the mailing list and you get my free guide to location independence. That's one way you can stay up to date. Yeah, so I got social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram. Oh yeah, I recently relaunched a book. You might have heard of it, called How I Learned to Code. That was a great experience, and people have been responding well to that. So I'm actually really motivated to make another book now. So yeah, stay tuned on Amazon. Follow my author account on Amazon. But yeah, there's plenty of ways to keep in touch, and I'm going to be still producing a lot of content. So don't get too sad if you really have been enjoying the podcast. But I think this is going to be a good thing for Chris the Freelancer, because it's going to allow me to focus more on the big areas, and that's YouTube, the blog, and creating more resources for you guys. So thanks so much for listening to this first season of episode.
Thanks for having me.
What, on the whole journey or on the podcast?
Just the podcast.
All right. Well, thank you, Denise, for coming on. I appreciate that. She's a bit microphone shy.
Yeah, that's probably why you notice I've got a resting bitch face on every single video. It's because, I'm a very open person. You can talk to me about anything, but I'm very, very shy when it comes to, I don't know, I guess having to share everything just because I have to. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I can vouch for her. She's not actually a bitch. She's very nice. All right. Thanks, guys. And I'll see you on YouTube and the blog and everything else and social media. So keep in touch.
Bye.